Shut up and sit down.
Look alive, folks. This is episode 5, and this is Too Short to Be Shy, your host of Kinda All Over the Place, your podcast that's not really a podcast, maybe more of a variety cast. I don't know what to call this thing. I know I promised the second part of my conversation with my former lover. However, I got the opportunity to talk to my sister about something that happened to me 13 years ago this month. It was the anniversary of something very tragic that happened in my life. So I thought I'd take the opportunity so I could do it around the anniversary of what happened and share it with you guys. So you'll just have to wait until next month for the next installment of my conversation with my former lover, who's very opinionated and very high. All right, well, we're here with my sister, who will go ahead and introduce herself after she gets done yawning. She had some coffee. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's because she's a mom. I don't know. What do you have to say for yourself, sis?
I had the coffee 2 seconds ago. Hasn't exactly had time to kick in.
I thought it was instant coffee. She's not amused.
So I guess I'm going with Jade. I'm Too Shorty's little sister, even though she's shorter than me.
Yes, and I am too short to be shy.
Yeah, dynamite.
Although when we were younger, you were the one going around talking to everybody and telling them about Dad doing pest control.
I was drumming up business.
You know, you're doing your sexy voice, and here I am, and I forgot to do my sexy voice.
I'm not doing my sexy voice.
Or at least you're not trying, right?
This is not my sexy voice. This is just my calm voice.
Well, I'm glad you're so calm. Maybe I should be calm, too.
My sexy voice would be a little more like this.
As it should be.
Anyways,
So, what is something I don't know about you?
I don't think that there's anything that anybody who's known me for more than 5 minutes doesn't know about me.
Wow, does that mean you talk a lot about yourself?
High function anxiety people tend to overshare.
True that. You did tell me a couple things today that I didn't know. One was that you're wanting to go back to school.
Oh, I don't want to.
You have to?
I absolutely don't want to. But the company I work for will pretty much pay most, if not all, for me to get my nurse practitioners.
Oh, nice.
And that's a $40,000 education for free.
And probably a pretty good pay bump, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably be making double to triple what I am now in 2 years.
So is the goal for hubby to get to stay at home with the kids?
No, I don't think that would be good for him. Mentally, emotionally, physically.
Possibly not.
He really kind of has, he has to keep moving. He has to keep doing things. Besides, he may make a little less than me, but his insurance...
that can make up for a lot. It really can.
Because he's union. I mean, if we were to go and get that quality of insurance, it would cost us $2,000 a month instead of $200 a month.
Yeah, and I mean, just like the cost of everything that's going up, medical, I'm sure is, right?
Yeah.
Prescriptions. I mean, look at what they're doing with insulin now. That was supposed to be free, right? Like to the public and people. Anyway,
yeah,
we can talk about that for forever.
Well, the thing is they used to get insulin, I think, from the pancreas of pigs, and so it was limited and hard to come by. But they now know how to synthesize it rapidly.
But wouldn't that drive the cost down rather than up?
Yeah. So the question is, why isn't it?
Because greed. Really, just greed.
Well, yeah, there's an HIV medication that can put you to where your viral load is 0 and it's impossible for you to transmit it.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs something like $2,000 to $3,000 a month here, as to where in like New Zealand, Australia, it's like $6 a month.
Right. And I find that super amazing. When I found out that you can do that, even with a medication, I was like, that is huge compared to, I don't, I don't know if you remember how bad things were in the 80s and the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that girl from Lilo and Stitch just died of AIDS. And
Yeah.
to me, I was just like, I barely remember the last person I've heard of that died of AIDS. Like,
Yeah.
and it was clear that she just wasn't taking care of herself because of her drug addiction. That started, of course, with an injury. You know how that goes. You get taking medications and then that runs out. And anyway, so, unfortunately, she just wasn't taking care of herself.
Well, the first person I ever remember ever hearing about AIDS or dying of AIDS or anything was our cousin.
Right. Yeah. And that was pretty early on. I think it actually took them a while to figure out what he died of.
Yeah, that was mid 80s.
Have you ever seen the Dallas Buyers Club?
Mm-mm.
Must see. Oh my gosh. If you want to know what the pharmaceutical companies and the FDA is all about, watch the Dallas Buyers Club. Matthew McConaughey actually lost like 50 pounds to be in this movie. And it's just an incredible movie. I love that movie to death. It's rough.
Well, it has Matthew McConaughey in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Ryan Reynolds did the Green Lantern. We all know that movie super sucked. But still, it was Ryan Reynolds. I mean, who cares?
But here's the thing is that they say that ruined his career. And maybe
No, it didn't.
Well, okay, but let's say it did. That man has taken what money he had and put it into companies and sold those companies for hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, he's not an idiot.
He went on to do a lot of things.
No, I
all
know.
Of Deadpool was after that movie.
Oh, well, right. I'm talking about in between that and Deadpool.
It might have hurt it for a little while, but I mean, when you have the personality of Ryan Reynolds
I love his personality.
and the ass and abs, I mean, you're gonna make it.
I love his sense of humor. People bitching about why I took my kid to see your movie and you're like, it's not like a kid's movie. They were swearing. It's like, nobody told you it was a kid's movie. What are you doing? Like, he's like, why would you take your child to that? What is wrong with you?
Your ignorance is not my problem.
Right?
Yeah.
What was the other thing that you told me today that I didn't know? You remember what it was?
So many smart-ass responses are flying through my
About
head.
About you.
I don't know. I mean, we were talking about going back to school.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I mean, we talked about so many different things. I mean, let's face it, our conversations are very ADD.
Right. Speaking of which, you have gone on Adderall.
Yes.
You want to explain the reasons for that?
I've known I was somewhat neurodivergent for a little while, and I'd had a couple of people tell me that my personality reminds them of them and that it was their ADD. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I made it through nursing school on the dean's list. If I have ADD, it's not really affecting me enough. But I got a stomach infection or something and coffee and stuff. Oh, it just hurt so bad. So I had to cold turkey quit coffee, soda, energy drinks. And I work night shift, 13-hour overnight shifts. And I was wide awake. I had no issue staying awake. I had more energy than I had. And which, when you have ADD and stuff, stimulants actually have the reverse effect on you where you get really sleepy and tired. I'd heard people talking about going on the Ritalin and how much it sucked and affected them and they hated it. But I tried a low dose of Adderall. And at first, I didn't really notice much difference other than I was being a little bit more productive instead of sitting around and all of this crap going through my head and making me feel very overwhelmed and me going, God, I just don't have the energy to deal with it all. I was able to actually focus in on like, let's do this. Then we'll worry about this, and just focus in on one task at a time and start getting things done. Became more productive. And when I'm at work, I just feel way more scatterbrained if I don't have it. Running around like a chicken without my head.
All right, so this week is... Now, are you ready for this?
I'm not sure, because with you, anything can come from anywhere.
I wonder because I want to make sure I'm ready for this. Because I'm about to explain to you the most devastating thing that has ever happened to me in my life. And it's still hard to talk about, but again, as I was explaining to you earlier, even though it was something that I didn't want a lot of people to know, especially in the when it happened, I feel weird not telling you. Like and I have a feeling you already kind of know about it, and I definitely don't want you to think like I was trying to keep it from you. It was more like I was trying to keep it from everybody. And this week is the anniversary of that. This weekend is basically the anniversary of what happened. Do you recall 13 years ago when July 4th was coming around and I was posting a lot about I was excited because something was going to happen and I couldn't come. I was living, like in northern Utah, and you guys were doing like a whole thing for the 4th of July, and I couldn't come because like this other thing was happening. But then all of a sudden, 4th of July rolls around and I show up out of the blue. Do you remember that at all?
No.
Okay. That figures. Okay.
I'm kind of a self-absorbed person. I try not to be, but that's kind of fighting against humanistic nature.
Oh, it's so refreshing for somebody to actually admit that.
Oh, yeah. No, I have to remind myself, no, I'm empathetic and I do care about other people, but sometimes, and it may be part of the ADD, I have to like stop myself and remember that, there's two people in a relationship and a conversation and you have to care about both sides. But no, I am a little self-absorbed.
Okay. So my guess is that you probably don't know what happened. Okay. So 5 weeks before that, okay, 5 weeks before that, I was online and I was on some dating app. I couldn't even tell you what one anymore. And I got talking with this guy. His name, I'll go ahead and just say it. His name was, what I'm just going to do is his nickname. Okay, his nickname was Ducktape. Funny story behind that. So I got talking with Ducktape, and I don't even know why I started talking to him because his profile picture was him, sort of like this, in bed, in a dark room. I couldn't even see him. So I was like, and I think I even said, "What is up with that picture?" And I think he told me I'm kind of hiding. Turned out he was very much in a shell that somehow, just by being myself, I was able to actually bring him out of. I'd say slowly but surely, but over 5 weeks, how slowly could it have been? I will say this, that I will be referring to Ducktape in the past tense because he is no longer with us. And that may or may not be part of this story. Okay, so we got to talking and we started talking and texting and messaging a lot. And I discovered this person who was just so smart and really deep, and I was just really surprised at like the person he was. And then we got talking on the phone a lot, and I mean we would text like throughout the day, part of the night. I mean it was a constant thing, but we would talk like at least daily. And when I tell you this man's voice was gravelly, imagine Sam Elliott with a cold. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody so gravelly before or after in my life. Like, it was sexy as hell. So anyway, we would talk, and we would talk about a lot of in-depth things, but one thing that he really wanted to talk about was he had 2 little girls that he was not allowed to see. His ex-wife wouldn't let him see. And he was like really devastated about that. And so that was one thing that, was really on his mind.
Red flag. Go ahead.
You can hold the commentary for later. Anywho, so he was working at this place where they'd make like cast iron. I know that it was like really hot, like there'd be flames and this whole thing. It was very grueling work. And, but the thing is that, and I guess there's a part that I'm kind of beating around the bush at. And I guess not really purposely. I just don't know how to wind into that, like get into that. But basically, he had a drug history with heroin. And he had actually just got promoted at his job a couple years before we knew each other. And he got promoted. And then he realized he needed help with the heroin. One of the problems is that all his drug tests had come back clean because the person administering the tests wanted them to be clean, I guess.
If he's getting promoted while on heroin.
Anyway, so apparently their headquarters was like across the street from the actual like factory. So he said he marched himself across the street to his bosses and were like, this is what's happening. I need help. And so, and of course, I don't know if it's state by state, but if you go and get help for something, they can't fire you for it. They got him into treatment. But they demoted him. So like when he came back, he wasn't making nearly the same amount of money. But in the meantime, they'd gone to court for child support, like after his promotion. And so he was still paying the same amount and he couldn't afford a lawyer to go back and have it adjusted. Honestly, I think it was a really dumb problem to have. And by dumb problem, I call problems where you can just throw money at it like a dumb problem. It's like, if I had money, I could solve this problem. I actually want to create and this is one of the many, many, many things that I want to do, but I want to create like a nonprofit where if somebody has like a dumb problem, like they need to make it to a funeral across the country, but they're poor or whatever, yeah, we'll just throw some money at it. Like, that's just an example. Anyway, that was a tangent, how my neurodivergence is. That's why this is called Kinda All Over the Place. So anyway, he got out of rehab, and in the meantime, his, I guess she had left before. Anyway, he wanted to be better for his daughters, and okay, so he ended up with his wife in the first place, the mother of his children, I should say, in the first place, because I guess when he met her, she was doing things for drugs, if you know what I mean, like in exchange for drugs, and being taken advantage of less scrupulous people. And I think he felt like he needed to protect her. And so, he got her kind of out of that situation. That's, his side of it. I don't really know. But anyway, she had decided along the way, apparently, that because of his heroin addiction or whatever, didn't want him around the kids so much. So anyway, this was a point of contention for him, something that was making him very sad.
Well, it's kind of the pot calling the kettle black, but okay.
Right? That's pretty much what I said. And I don't know if she cleaned up her act.
She probably did. I mean, a lot of people do before they have kids.
She might have done it, before he did, and could have been very judgmental. It's sort of like how Bobby Brown got cleaned up and was trying to get Whitney cleaned up, right? Unfortunately, he didn't quite succeed, but, his heart was in the right place. So anyway, one other thing I learned about Ducktape was he had a lot of chronic pain, and the pain was coming from his kidneys.
I'm listening.
Okay, you're giving me a look. This was confirmed. I have a good authority that this is correct. He was born with a problem in his kidneys where like the tunnels that come off, I don't know what the hell they're called.
Ureters?
Could be. They're too like narrow or something.
Okay. And so he would get hydronephrosis?
What is that? Is that pain?
It's where the urine backs up into the kidneys and the kidneys swell up.
It could be. I know they had a lot of back pain, and sometimes it was hard to tell if it was from that or just the long hours he was putting in.
That's what ibuprofen's for.
Yeah, I know. He was kind of living on that.
Okay. I'm listening.
So
we listen, we don't judge.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. See, without knowing him or talking to him, it is a little hard to not judge him, which is part of the reason why I didn't want to even talk about this with anybody in my family, because I didn't want him lumped in with, the losers that I've had in my life. You tell me these amazing stories that, like, back then I kind of believed them, but, I really don't know if I could believe them now.
The fish was this big. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much like that. He told me that the FBI, was it FBI? Might have been like Homeland Security, I can't remember. The authorities came to his house when he was a teenager because he had hacked into the Department of Defense.
Homeland Security.
Right, that's probably what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He also told me, oh, by the way, he lived in St. Louis. This is where he grew up. I don't normally associate with people from Missouri for various reasons. If you've ever known anybody from Missouri, you totally understand.
I think every city and every state has their dumbasses.
It seems to be quite the concentration.
Except Idaho, those people can't drive. Anyways.
No, but you know what they can do now? Convicted pedophiles now go before a firing squad.
That's one for you, Idaho.
Yep. I mean, they're all kind of bonkers there, but hey, they got one thing right.
Yeah, the downside to that, though, if you think about it, though, now that law has passed, now it's going to be harder to convict somebody for pedophilia when you consider what the weight is for sentencing.
I was actually worried he was going to go the other direction. Like, you know, like, will they actually make sure the person is a pedophile before they shoot them?
I say let the victims decide what their sentencing is.
That's one way to look at it.
Anyways.
Okay, so, another story he told me. He told me he started a race riot.
What is a race riot?
Where blacks and whites like fight.
I'm picturing an underground parking garage and like Michael Jackson playing in the background or something to like beat it. Like
what?
It was just like a dance off or something. Like, I don't know, my mind is a race riot. What the?
I love the little shoulder movement you just gave.
I love the fact that this guy thought that this was a power move
like
for him.
Weird flex, bro.
Right?
Okay, but here's the thing he said. There's a whole lot of black kids on his side. It's like, is it still a race riot then? Like,
isn't it just a brawl then?
Right?
Wait, so he's white.
Yeah. I'll show you a picture of him later.
And he was being racist towards black people.
No, but he wasn't.
And it started a riot. Why would it be a race riot if he wasn't being racist? But then he brought a bunch of black people to the brawl. What?
That was the kind of weird shit I was dealing with.
Honey, I love you, and I know that you're smart and you have such a good heart.
Well, now you know why I'm in a single ship. Oh, he's only part of the puzzle on that one. Anyway.
Honey, it's raining red flags like confetti.
Right.
Keep going.
But the voice, if you could only hear the voice.
Oh, honey, I know what it's like. I've had sexy voices almost lead me astray too, but
almost, huh? So anyway, he decided he wanted to meet, which was bold since he was poor. Like, I was like, how are you gonna do that? Like, he wanted to come visit me. Well, he ended up borrowing money from his mom and dad, I guess.
It's raining flags. Hallelujah.
Go ahead. Why are you picking flags off of me that don't exist?
It wasn't a flag, it was a hair.
Oh.
And it did exist.
I shed. Like, anyway.
Yeah, I know. Perimenopause. It's so much fun.
It's also medications, and I think Zepbound does it too. Zepbound has given me this Forgina.
They're called 11s.
No, there's also called Forginas. Because it looks like a vagina.
So I
have something that's helping it. This used to be way worse. It's got Valvoline or something. Well, I can't remember. Valvoline.
That's motor oil, sweetie.
So he decided to visit. And so, you know, he bought the tickets and everything, and he was going to show up on either July 4th or July 5th. Like, it's been 13 years, so, I don't remember the exact day. But he was coming to visit for, like, the 4th of July weekend. And, anyway, so there was, one day, we got talking. He called, okay, this is I was actually going to tell this part later, but that's fine. He was sitting at a park, like, across from where he lived, and he called me all emotional, like he was crying. And I was like, what's going on? And he said that he had something he wanted to tell me. He didn't want me to judge him for. And I'm like, I already know you're like a heroin addict. Like,
I cry when I masturbate. Go ahead.
You remember when Johnny asked Dad, why do I cry when I masturbate? I couldn't believe the comeback. Because you're gay, son. He said, you know why women can't measure? Do you know why women can't measure?
I think, the joke was something along... Go ahead.
Because they've always been told this is 6 inches or something like that. Yeah, anyway. So anyway, I got him calmed down, and he told me that he suspected he had it. He suspected that he had it. There I go, making up words again.
It's okay. I know someone who referred to medical school as doctor school.
Did they go to doctor school?
They did not go to doctor school.
That would explain some things. Okay, so anywho, he told me that he had suspected he had Hep C, and he didn't want me to judge him for it and whatnot. And, with his visit, we didn't know exactly where that would go, and I think he was kind of concerned about that. What? I
mean, Hep C is... I'm trying to think. I know that Hep B is blood.
Hep C is blood as well.
I don't know.
Well, the thing is that, because we didn't know where things were going to go, I did research on it and learned, like, what it does to your liver and how it's
all
transmitted.
The hepatitis, screw your liver.
Well, but I just looked at it specifically.
The medical term for liver is HEPAT.
Well, that makes sense.
Itis.
Hepatitis.
So it's an infection of the liver.
Okay.
Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, he said he went and got tested and it had been negative. But the place was known for false negatives and possibly false positives. In my research, I found that that's actually not that unheard of. So, he said he was going to get retested before he comes and visits. I still don't know if he did. Anyway.
Yeah. So it is blood transmitted like B.
Mm-hmm. Which meant because he had gum issues and I had gum issues, ironically, we'd be fine if we had sex but not kiss. How do you like that for ironic?
I don't like kissing during sex anyways. It's too personal. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I was like, look, I don't know about Hep C. Let me do some research, and we'll get it figured out. It'll be fine. So, in the meantime, and something I forgot to mention is that after he got out of rehab, he'd been off of heroin for 2 years when I met him. But the thing is, he seemed so scared of falling back on it. Like, super, super scared. And the guy who used to sell him drugs seemed to be coming around and wanting to know how he's doing. And he actually still owed the guy a lot of money. So he's like, I don't know if he wants money or he wants to get me back into drugs. So I'm like, best to just stay away from him until you can possibly pay him back, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, the guy kept coming around and he just seemed really scared. And I actually got a hold of Lisa and asked her, like, can you have a conversation with him? Maybe be like, sort of like a sponsor in a way? Because this is out of my depth.
I mean, not all addicts are created equal.
No, absolutely not. And I think that's something
she was not an intravenous drug user.
Right, I know. But, like, I was just grasping at straws, basically, at that point. Also, she explained to me that males and females can't sponsor each other.
Oh.
Something that I see all the time on television or in movies, and I'm just like, that's against the rules.
Yeah, well, they probably don't want to reveal all the inner workings of AA.
Well, yeah, actually, at an AA meeting, I know that I learned somewhere that they actually kind of want to stay away from the media and not get involved in things.
Really? Alcoholics Anonymous?
Right, yeah. In the meetings I've attended, I mean, just, being there for Lisa and whatnot, I think it's a good place. Dad always said it was actually better than church.
No, it's a very safe space.
Yeah. So yeah, he just seemed really scared that he was going to go back to that. And I don't know if he'd been doing this the whole time we were talking. The last few weeks, he seemed to be trying to kill his pain with vodka. You're not really being clean. I mean, you're clean from heroin, but that's vodka. Like, I guess he needed something just to get to work, you know? But honestly, I mean, it's not the safest work environment when you're, drinking.
It's just justification. Anyways.
Here's a kind of a cute thing. He had a beard and very short cropped hair. I was like, you should shave it down to a goatee and just buzz your head. Just become bald. And he's like, no. I'm like, do it. Trust me, right? So he does it, and he sends me pictures. I'm like, oh, you look so good, right? He was just, it was so good. And he's like, I feel good, right? And he was like, yeah.
I'm kind of feeling myself.
Right? And it seemed to really lift his spirits. And anyway, he went to work and some dude was asking him who the hell he was because he saw the back of him. He turns around and the guy's like, oh, Ducktape. Oh my God. He said even his own sister was like, hello. Which is a little weird, but anyway. So yeah, he was kind of feeling it, which it was pretty cool. And here's something interesting. He called me one time and he was like, I was watching this thing on TV. Maybe he was just texting me. I can't remember. But he's watching something on TV that had to do with the metaphysical, where you go when you die and past lives and just a lot of things that on the spiritual side. And he was telling me, he's like, I don't believe in any of that stuff. But I found it interesting. He wanted to know why he found it interesting when he doesn't believe in any of that stuff. And so we had a really in-depth talk about that. And anyway, that's just a really great talk. I actually realized along the way, this is something that was kind of confirmed for me later, I think that a lot of his problems, he also had some mental health problems. But I think some of that was he was actually extremely sensitive to spirit and having a hard time with that.
I need a potty break.
Okay, we can take a potty break. All right, we're back from my sister's potty break. She wants me to be less tangential while she's sitting here talking about skincare, which was definitely off topic, but that's okay because skincare is important. Anywho, so the 4th, 5th, again, I can't remember the exact day. I just know it was the weekend, the 4th of July weekend, I should say. Anyway, so it came to the day that I was supposed to drive to Salt Lake to pick him up from the airport. And anyway, I was just about to hop in the shower to get ready to, make that drive. It's about an hour from where I was living. When I get a call from his number, and I'm like, okay, guess he's just telling me that he's, about to get on the plane or whatever. And anyway, I pick it up, and it's his mom. And she's like, okay, this is Ducktape's mom. I've actually his phone was kind of broken, and she didn't really know how to get around that. She's like, I've actually been sitting here trying to figure out how to call you on this phone. I wanted to call you before you went to pick David up. He died last night. And I'm like, what? The 5 stages of grief, denial is the first one, right? Let's just say the denial was strong. I was straight up accusing this woman of making it up.
Did you ever go and look up his obituary?
There was none. I'm like, okay, this is he just told you to tell me that because he chickened out, right? She's like, no. He came home last night, apparently did heroin. You've told me this before. If you're off of a drug for a long time and then you go back on it, you overdo it because you're used to those levels, remember?
No. So basically, say that you take, we'll just throw out a random 10 grams. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I don't know drug measurements at all, but
right.
Well, in order to get the same high, you have to do 12 grams next time.
Mm-hmm.
And each time you have to keep going up and up and up, especially with like opiates, you get a resistance. But basically, you never get the feeling of that first high.
Mhm. Oh, you're always chasing that first high with heroin, from what I understand.
And so that's all.
So anyway, apparently he gave in and did heroin the night before he was supposed to come see me. And I don't know if it was
What
the
a
amount.
prince.
What?
What a prince.
I know, right? Like, what a dumbass. She's like, he just laid down and died. And she's like, if he had been standing up and he fell, I could at least have heard him and maybe done something. This poor woman, oh my God, her voice kept cracking when she talked to me. And she kept saying over and over again in this cryy voice, he was doing so good. He was doing so good. And like there was a little bit of confusion in her voice. And I'm like, am I responsible like for this? Because I got him to come out of his shell, and she assured me that like if anything, I made him happier, and it definitely wasn't wasn't on me. I mean, I felt very differently for quite a while about that, but I really had to watch my influence over people like after that as a coach in the job that I was doing. That's probably not something that I should have been holding back on. But anyway, so she's like, yeah, I just needed to make sure I called you before you went to the airport. And she kept saying she looked at the spoon he used and it looked like there was something weird in it. Like somebody had purposely put something in the heroin. And this is before, the whole, what they add to heroin now? Fentanyl. This is before a lot of people even heard of fentanyl. So I don't know if fentanyl was involved or not, but now I'm thinking if she saw something weird in the residual, maybe that was it. But I think that she just wanted to blame somebody, perhaps. I don't know. And so I said, well, there was that drug dealer that kept coming around, and I think that was news to her. Anyway, she's like, well, my husband's here. Like, I gotta go. So we continued to talk through like email and stuff later. She was a rather interesting lady. There's something, we were talking so much that for that to just stop like that. And ironically, like right before he was supposed to come see me, like that just there's the finality of that was just so much. Like it was devastating.
So you're talking about grieving. So there's kind of like two kinds of grieving. There's just kind of the regular grief, you go through the stages and things like that, but then there's what they call complex grieving. Complex grieving is brought on by sudden death. It is much harder to cope with and deal with. If somebody has cancer, you have months, years to cope with their loss. But when somebody dies so suddenly, your brain has a really hard time with it. But they say actually, like, when it comes to addicts, any change, even good ones, can spurn relapses. But there's also first order logic. If you couldn't have stopped him from using, then you couldn't have made him use.
Right. Okay, that is a very good.
If you don't have the power to make someone pick up drugs and use them, or you don't have the power to make someone not use when they want to, you know what I'm saying? You just don't have that power. And the truth is, they have that expression, people only have the power we give them. And that's true. You ever heard of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
I think I have, and I think I wanted to read it, but didn't because I'm not effective.
Well, like his son wrote a book, and it was used in a juvenile rehab center I worked at.
Oh, okay.
And it was 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. But it was talking about learning to be present in the moment and learning to be proactive, not reactive. And learning how when you, like, not using statements like, you're making me angry. Because
The I language.
Well,
I get
that's-
angry when the such and such is done to me,
but
right?
when you're saying you're making me angry, that means that person has the power to control you,
Mm-hmm.
to push your buttons, and that's one thing I think about, whatever I feel, whatever I think, whatever I do, it's my responsibility alone. I do not blame people. I never use you're I guess I can tell some people sometimes you're pissing me off.
I heard you tell your son that he was pissing you off.
Usually I don't, though. Usually it's just like, okay, I'm starting to get annoyed right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like, it's usually the conversation is bothering me, the topic is bothering me, but I try to avoid language that basically says you are using your little joystick and mouse and controlling me.
Puppet mastery.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, and I don't think I really blamed myself for very long or very deeply. I just really wondered if it was a good idea to bring him out of that shell. I didn't do it intentionally. It just sort of happened. Oh, I forgot to tell you one of the best parts. Oh my gosh.
Becky, he could have relapsed weeks earlier and not had
the
happiness.
Vodka, right? Yeah.
He wasn't serious about his sobriety. Because anybody who is trying to be sober doesn't use substances at all because it makes them more prone to relapse.
Absolutely.
He was not serious about his sobriety. And that's okay.
I think he was serious about wanting it, maybe. I don't know. I have to question a lot of what was said and what went on between us during that time. But here's something cute I wanted to tell you about. So early on, we're having a phone conversation, and he's like, "I need to go eat chocolate," and I'm like, "What? You're giggling? Do you know what that's about?"
Well, I mean, chocolate kind of it can be a substitute for sex. It can also elevate mood.
Well, he said that he'd been horny all day and chocolate calms him down. So my devious mind, here's what I did.
And thought he had a vagina?
What?
Never mind, go ahead.
He thought he had a vagina?
No, I'm saying you thought he had a vagina since he was using chocolate to substitute sex, and it's kind of a female thing.
He's not substituting sex. It calmed him down. Okay, all right. I get that look.
You're saying he's horny and that the chocolate calms him down. What am I supposed to think other than the chocolate?
What, is he having sex with the chocolate? I don't know how.
No, that it releases certain chemicals in the brain similar to those you get during sexual encounters. So it kind of tricks the brain and calms the libido.
Gotcha.
But I thought only people with vaginas did that. So anyways, I'm sorry your boyfriend was a girl.
Oh boy, boyfriend. That's a whole other bailiwick. Anyway, so my devious mind, what I did was I had some chocolate sauce and I strategically dripped it down my décolletage, you know where it was headed, right? And took pictures of it headed south. So I gotta admit, I felt a little bad because I was like, am I just making him more horny with the chocolate? Like, it's a little devious, right? But oh my God, he thought it was just the best thing ever. And it wasn't even that dirty because it only went down from like here to here, but it's the direction it was going, right? And I had to do that over and over to get the chocolate just right. I could go through this whole damn bottle. All right, so that was, to me, that was a cute part of the story. But anyway, so after that, I was super, I guess you could say, depressed. I just felt really, really empty. And I messaged a whole bunch of his friends asking if there was funeral arrangements and what they knew. It took a while for some of them to get back to me because some of them were in jail or just not on Facebook ever. But they confirmed for me that yes, he did die, but there wasn't any funeral or anything. And honestly, I think it's because his parents were so poor.
When you're going through and editing this,
Uh-huh.
you need to have a count for every time you go off on a tangent. Squirrel! Squirrel!
I actually put captions on a lot of things.
Yeah, so you'll just have a little squirrel counter for every time your little golden retriever brain.
See, but here's the thing: is he was a third, like his name, the Third, and so what comes up mostly is his father, I think.
Yeah, well, that's 1940, so I don't think that
he didn't have an obituary. That's what I was trying to tell you, though. He didn't have an obituary. His parents didn't even want people to know he died.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what you're saying is that it's possible that the whole thing was a lie. He just didn't want to come see me, or
it's possible, and it may
and
not.
Believe me, oh, trust me. I was like, I want that to be true. I want that to be the reality. But everything I've looked at or talked to with people, and also, okay, here's some of the biggest evidence, and you may not agree with it, but okay, so shortly after he died, Lisa knows all this, pretty much his whole story, by the way.
No, she was just asking if we were going swimming.
Oh, I know. I was just gonna let you know. She knows because I tried to bring her into the whole situation.
I remember. I was there for you telling me half an hour ago.
Okay, so
squirrel. Go ahead.
I had to remember where I was. I wanted to make sure you were actually listening because you were sitting there typing. Anyway.
I'm a mom and a nurse.
You can multitask.
Multitasking out the wazoo.
This guy I follow says that he used to have 2 different eating disorders. I have to say I'm kind of impressed. I didn't know that men could multitask like that. Dad told me I should tell him that joke. I'm like, I don't know if he'll appreciate it.
Oh my God, we had the weirdest admit into the hospital the other day. Freak peekaboo accident.
What?
Yeah, guy ended up in ICU.
That's a shame. I was playing peekaboo with a little girl the other day. She was so cute. She's a little Mexican girl. You know, the big dark eyes and everything. She kept looking up at me and smiling, and I would be like wobbling my eyebrows. And she just she kept doing it. It was so cute. Anyway,
you do get the jokes, though, right?
Yeah, I got it. I'm the ruiner of jokes, by the way. After he died, I'm like, this motherfucker, he should be coming and visiting me. He knows that I believe in the afterlife. Where the fuck is he? I know we didn't meet in life, but he could still come visit me, right? I decide, and you can believe this or not, I look up mediums. And there was a lady who lived about an hour from me who was world renowned as a psychic medium. Okay, yes, you're rubbing your forehead. Yes,
I'm listening.
You're listening and judging. Okay. So anyway.
Only silently, okay?
It took 3 months to get in to see her. In the meantime, I'm really just devastated and confused about some things. So anyway, I go see her. First thing that happens, I walk into her place. And she's like, who are all these people you brought with you? What are you doing to me? I'm like, you want me to explain? She's like, no, don't tell me anything.
Why would you did you have literal a lot of people, or were they spirits?
Spirits.
Why would you have a lot of spirits around you?
Don't you know what happened when I was born?
No.
When I was born, Dad saw a whole a whole bunch of spirit people lining every side of the bed. And it's possible they've just been with me the whole time.
Okay. It's good to know mental health issues run in my family. Go ahead.
Dad's actually sensitive to spirit. It's taken me a long time to realize that. Anywho.
Dad also spent a good portion of the 60s high as a kite.
True. Anyway. But you know what happened to him over at Johnson's Canyon?
Squirrel.
So you haven't listened to my podcast at all. I feel like this is what you remember the gal from.
No, I wouldn't listen to your podcast for more than 5 minutes. Like I said, in my profession, we're all about communicating as clearly and concisely as possible. Lives could be on the line. Do you know how many people would die if you were a nurse?
Again, I am not in the medical profession or industry for several reasons, including but not limited to that reason right there.
I think you need Adderall.
I agree with you. And I'm so sorry that I just spit all over you.
You didn't. I'm just rubbing in my lotion still. I'm just
Okay, I'm sorry.
so itchy.
I know that you feel like Kelly LeBrock on the Howard Stern show without knowing who he was beforehand.
Squirrel.
What the hell was her manager thinking? All right. So anyway, so we sit down and, she's not even looking at me. She's like facing a different direction, which I thought was interesting. And she gets talking. She's asking me about she's like, there's somebody here who has like an old person smell. And so anyway, we determined that it was Dad's mom, Grandma. And she's like, oh, she had birds. And I'm like, well, she fed birds or something cats would come and eat them. And she's like, no, these are colorful birds in cages in her backyard. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So anyway, fast forward. She's like, have you been smelling cigarette smoke? I'm like, yeah. She's like, when there's no smoke around, right? I'm like, yeah. And I've been confusing the hell out of my coworkers because I'm constantly going, who is smoking?
Stroke.
No, isn't that toast? Isn't the smell of toast a stroke? You're a nurse. You don't know? You should know these things. I don't
know that smelling burnt toast is an actual diagnostic test for stroke.
I think it is. And a metal taste is a heart attack, I think. Which is interesting because I've actually had a metal taste.
Do you,
though? Do I what?
You said, I think, and I said, do you, though?
Okay, but what's weird is I've had a metal taste in my mouth when I masturbate. So is it dangerous for me to masturbate? Should I not be doing that?
You only live once.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so... you're being upset at my tangential ways is hilarious.
I just feel an excessive need for a wall to bang my head upon is all.
Well, now you know why my discussions always take 2 hours.
That's another 45 minutes. Yeah, I might not survive that.
It won't take another 45 minutes. Okay, so she's like, somebody's blowing smoke in my face right now, like trying to tell me to tell you that they're here. And I'm like, I don't know. And she starts talking. And anyway, she brings up a whole bunch of stuff that tells me that it's duct tape. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? I thought he wasn't communicating with me. Apparently, he's been trying to get my attention this whole fucking time. And I'm just like, why isn't that bastard around, right? So he said some interesting things. One, if he hadn't have died, he would have been a problem to me, just like all the other guys. I had never talked to him about my dating history. How did he know that? But the fact that he knew that he would be a problem for me was interesting. But anyway, long story short, that really helped. I felt so much better after that, especially since he took accountability for ending his life. But anyway, I was really protective of him, in death, because I didn't want him lumped in with a bunch of losers that, I just didn't want to say, oh, my friend died of a heroin overdose and, have people judge him for that and judge me for being associated with that, but mostly judge him and not knowing the person that he was. And I guess it just doesn't feel like that big of a deal to me so much anymore. I mean, it's still hard to talk about. It's still hard to think about. But I guess I just don't feel the need to protect him so much that way anymore.
It's a little bit of my life philosophy. When I see people who are doing stupid things or being entitled or rude, I just think, they just haven't lived enough life. If given enough time, I think life will teach us how stupid we are.
It's interesting that you say that. And I'll let you finish your thought. Sorry, go ahead.
I honestly, I joke and say, we listen and we don't judge, but the truth is I tend to think that everyone we meet has had an entire life filled with millions of moments that have compiled together to create a complex being. Mm-hmm. That even if they're 30 and we spent 30 years trying to get to know them, we still would not. And I think that we're all doing the best we can. We are making a million choices a day based on who we are at that time. And in 10 years, we're going to look back and think, I thought I was so wise and I thought I was so smart and I was an idiot. There's no use judging somebody because they misstep on their journey.
Right.
We all have to, sometimes we misstep, we stumble, we continue on. Sometimes we fall down. Sometimes we fall down and we revel in that.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the dirt making snow angels, just going, I like it here. I'm not ready to get up. I'm going to wallow.
Right.
But we all eventually get back up and get going again. But, as you walk by seeing this doorknob licker doing snow angels in the dirt, there's not much point in judging them because you probably were there, at some point or will be at some point. It doesn't make sense to judge other people for their flaws. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you may have learned the lesson that taught you not to have that flaw, but they've learned a lesson that's taught them not to have one of your flaws.
Right. Well, that's why I say that people should embrace people who are different. You never know what you'll learn from somebody.
I honestly think that is, life. I think we're all doing the best we can.
Right.
If you see somebody struggling, you have your choice of, do I ignore them? Do I walk on by or do I give them a hand up?
Mm-hmm.
But you do also have to
use discernment.
Yes, not judgment, but discernment.
And I was going to say I need to be more judgy or use more discernment is a better way of saying that. And I think I've improved upon that.
You still, even at your age, you still have this ability to look at people and believe.
Mm-hmm.
You still have this childlike wonderment that part of me envies.
Oh, well, that's nice of you to say.
There are plenty of times where you talk and I want to just apply hand to forehead. But, there's also something admirable about being hurt by people over and over again and still choosing to believe in people. That shows a resilience or stupidity. I'm not quite sure which.
Maybe a little from column A and a little from column B.
Not necessarily exclusive. But no, I think that it is one of the cool things about your personality.
Well, thank you.
Is that you do choose to believe in people.
You said something that reminded me. Oh, right. Experiential stuff. You said how some people just haven't lived enough.
Mm-hmm.
The psychic told me that she saw something weird happening, and that was he was actually attaching himself to me to gain more experience through me. She had never seen that before, ever. She was kind of freaked out over it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
He was actually around a lot for quite a while, but I haven't felt him for years.
Well, it just doesn't make sense to me. If somebody was that thirsty for life's experiences, they wouldn't have thrown their life away so easily.
But what man thinks about consequences? She also wanted me to talk to his mom about cologne. So where I was getting cigarette smoke in my face, turned out she was actually smelling his cologne. Something she hadn't told me until I brought it up. And she's like, oh yeah, that's weird. I keep smelling his cologne. Anyway, so after my session with her, I called Dad. And I'm like, did Grandma have birds in the backyard? He's like, yeah, she had all these colorful birds. She kept them in cages. I'm like, I didn't know that. So my question is, how did she know that? If I didn't know that, that's not something she could just look up. All right, well, now you know the story behind the most devastating thing I think I've ever experienced. And it was mostly just devastating because, we talked about, that sudden, finality of it all.
Yeah, complex grieving is...
Right.
Yeah.
So now you and my listeners know all about it.
Okay.
All right. So is there anything else you would like to share before we go? No?
I don't think so.
Nothing you want to share about yourself or any thoughts you might have?
If I did, it would probably lead to 12 other squirrel tangents. It's okay. Let your golden retriever flag fly.
Golden retrievers are the worst. Like, I love them.
They're not. They're sweet and kind,
I mean, they're like,
friendly,
yes,
dumb as a
they're-
box of rocks, and squirrel. I kind of consider Jordan a golden retriever. I've literally watched her stop dead in her tracks and go, ooh, shiny.
Well, she is related to me. I'm attracted to shiny things. All right, so I guess you have nothing to add to that. You have a favorite quote or anything you'd like to tell people?
Those who would sacrifice liberty for security don't deserve either. Thomas Jefferson.
Is he a hero of yours?
He was a very intelligent orator.
Man, did he love the ladies. But you know what? He got us helping.
Who's your founding father? Who's your founding father?
Was he ever president? Oh, I'm sorry. A founding father doesn't mean president. Oh my gosh.
First off, yeah, I'm pretty damn sure he was.
Oh wait, we're talking about Benjamin Franklin, right?
No, Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was picturing Franklin. Franklin was the womanizer who got us help for the war.
How was he a womanizer? He was like 5'3".
Oh my God, he loved the ladies. Then the ladies loved him. Do some research, woman. Like, it was that guy's dick that got us the French's help.
I don't care
for the war.
I really don't care how many how many bedposts his powdered wig was on. Did the powdered wig match the powdered drapes? I don't care.
All right.
Why would I care how much pootie tang Benjamin Franklin was getting?
I'm just saying.
Oh my God, was he kinky? Did he tie the kite string to? Never mind. Put this key.
Boy. All right. Okay. Well, on that note, I think we're good. You want to say bye?
I don't think we were ever good.
All right. That's all, folks. There you have it, my crazy conversation about this devastating occurrence that happened in my life 13 years ago. This is kind of all over the place with Too Short to Be Shy. We are out.